We are live,
Awesome.
but I'm not sure if we are on Instagram. There we
Usually it
go.
takes a little bit for Instagram to kick in, but
Okay, I think we're live on Instagram now as well.
awesome. Perfect. Yep,
Yeah.
I see it now. Sick.
Welcome, everybody. And I think it only shows us Instagram comments on here, right?
It shows us only Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, I was only seeing Instagram before, but it may be my settings. But I got my phone, so I can always
Interesting.
go back.
Right.
I can't tell when people are joining us, if they're seeing us. Let me just go to Facebook. I love how Nikki looks at the screen.
Oh, she's so good at it. She's such a photogenic dog. We got a
Like
few
every
people
other
doing
dog
that.
looks away from the screen.
Yeah, I've
Almost like she
noticed
can
that.
see it.
She always looks dead on just to make everyone uncomfortable on the other side of whatever FaceTime video meeting I'm on.
Welcome, everybody. I'll wait until I see a few people joining us to start sharing information. Instagram now as well.
Awesome.
Oh, yay. Emily says, Happy Easter. Hi, Emily. First time I can actually catch you live. I understand. I usually have that issue too, trying to find people be on while others are live. So, yay. Glad you're here. Glad you guys listening can join us. Glad, Jonas, you can join me.
Oh yeah, happy to be here. Happy Easter, Mom.
Happy Easter to you, babe. So I was going to come on by myself, try to feel out this StreamYard thing. And I was happy that Jonas was able to come on last minute with me. So he'll be able to help me out here. Hopefully we'll be able to utilize some features that we have learned how to use that will make it easier for people to catch what we've been talking about. As with live, people are in and out, just the nature of it. So hopefully you guys will have to let us know with feedback later if you like what we do today. Yeah. So first of all, I want to talk about, well, first of all, I should say that if I do any hellos from heaven, it will be towards the end. And I will tell you why. I don't do hellos like readings, so I don't actually need people here, meaning I don't find the recipient. Well, I just give the information that I get. Having that said, last time, the very first young man that came through, I was hearing that their person wasn't here yet. And so what happened was, not Spirit's fault, mine. I was able to clearly hear them. And then later, I kept wanting to tell people as they joined, go back and listen, and of course they can't listen until after it's published. But so it's just a neurotic thing with me, apparently, that
Right.
I felt like I needed to keep telling people to go back and listen, because I knew that the person at Spirit's person wasn't here. Actually, I should post a follow-up on that because it was really cool. And I didn't share it with you either, Jonas, but the mom reached out to me and it was a really cool story about her son had recently protected her behind the wheel. Anyway, she connected with everything, but behind the wheel thing in a different way. Oh, as it turns out, I'm actually going to be interviewing her on a podcast. So maybe we can share that story and she can share her perspective of that live connection when we do that. Cool. So, oh, hi, Janice. Janice is a friend from Tennessee. You know her, Jonas. You probably don't remember because you were really young, but we were in co-op together in Tennessee.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, in the great co-op. So, yeah. Hi, Krista. Hi, Paula. Hi, Lana. Okay, so exciting news, you guys. I am planning a cruise for May 2025. And we will put this up on here as soon as I have details. I will let you know, but it's most likely going to be the first week of May, possibly going into the second week of May. So we will have more than an entire year to plan. I'm super excited. I'll be giving readings. Everybody who goes on the cruise will get individual messages from me as well as a large group reading. But we're going to have a lot of just flexible time to socialize, meetups for maybe line dancing, karaoke. It's going to be super fun. And I hope that you can join me. Most likely we'll be cruising out of Florida. We will be cruising out of Florida. So I know it's a flight for some of us, including me, but that tends to be the place where the most people can access, and they have our destinations too that are good and prices are good too. So I'm really excited to share as soon as I can, as soon as I get some details ironed out. Hope it might be a month, maybe two, certainly by the year mark. And maybe that will be my launch, that I put the official registration information up for that. I will share though, as soon as I have it as I go along. So hope you guys can join me. I'm super excited. It's going to be super fun. It's Krisha, I believe it's going to be, I'm drawing a blank. What are the cruise lines? Royal Caribbean. There we go. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Royal Caribbean. I think a Western Caribbean destination, 6 to 7 day cruise next May 2000. It'll be opportunities for me to meet so many of you in person, connect, make new friends, just have a great time. Hi, Julia. I'm going to be coming your way to Seattle again soon for Rana's wedding. So Julie is a friend who we got to meet in person in Seattle. Jonas and I both on a visit, and she was kind enough to play tour guide to us actually a couple of years ago. Yeah, and now Jonas is there. You did such a good job, Julia. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tina. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Janet. Welcome, everybody. Okay, the cruise. Second exciting news is I am moving my monthly Spirit Power Hour groups. These are over Zoom, and my Mediumship Circle groups to my Connect community. So if you're not familiar with my Connect community and you have had a reading with me or have attended a class with me, you are eligible to join it. It's free. I have two options. You can join through Facebook. It's just CONNECT. So you can like search that up and just make sure you see my name. I think it's my personal name, Rachel Slagle Pearson. If you have had a reading or attended a class with me. So it's something, the Connect community is something I offer to clients. The attendance for the most part of the Spirit Power Hour and Mediumship Circles are previous clients. It means that registration is going to be through the Connect community. And that's why it's so important. If you are a client and you've attended these and you want to continue attending these and getting the notices, you need to join my Connect community. Also registration, it will be donation based. So versus like the fee where you go and sign up through my website right now, you will no longer see that information. Starting April, you won't see the information like the dates and times for Spirit Power Hour. You won't see that on my website, nor will you see the Mediumship Circles on there. Other than, I think I'll add to the site, this information so that if you are interested and you can join those communities. So communities, meaning I have the Facebook option that I shared, and for those non-Facebook users or just want to avoid Facebook, you can go to my website. So with that, you can actually send me an email to info@rachelpearson.net, and I will send you a link to join through my website. My website has the same features that the Facebook group does, meaning that I can post and everybody will see it. So I'll post the links there, any impromptu or last minute meetups or meet and greets we also do in the Connect community. So the Connect community I started after my early discernment groups, or with them, I should say. And I really missed the community aspect. I really feel, especially with Spirit Power Hour, but the Mediumship Circles as well, the Connect community, like the group, online group, is so efficient to help us like really connect as a community and stay connected. It's efficient for posting follow-ups. I find that since I've been not using them for that and just using email, Some of the follow-ups get lost. And I just, again, the community building aspect of that, I really love. Vija, I love you being in Spirit Power Hour. So hopefully you're already in one of those groups or both of the groups. You can join both if you want to join the Facebook community or again, through my site. Now, my website does at the top have a banner, and I believe it has groups. And I think you can join without emailing me, but I'm not positive. I think you can go to groups and then request to join. So if you just go to my website, rachelpearson.net, to join the community, Connect community that way, the top all the way to the right, I believe you see groups, click on that and you'll see Connect community and then click request to join, I think. Okay. But if you have any trouble, again, you can email me, but would love to have you in the community. We have a lot of, it's really just nice for not even if you don't attend the classes, we have a lot of really nice people, clients of mine that will share their own spirit story signs and just a really nice, lovely group of people. It's not a grief support community. It is a spiritual growth support community. Having that said, probably 95%. Oh, thank you, Julianne. You make it that way. You're part of it for sure. 95% of people have lost someone very close to them, have someone who has physically died and kind of got them on this spiritual journey. So even though it's not a grief support community, you will find a lot of like-minded people and people who have loved ones in spirit helping them from the other side. So yeah, so thanks for that, you guys, or yeah. Anyway, you know what I mean, right? If we were on a podcast, Jonas would just edit out that thanks for that. I have no idea why I said that, but thank you for being here with us. That's what I should say. Okay. I want to share a spirit story. So I feel like Easter, the meaning of Easter, and not just it as the meaning of the holiday, but it being a time where we miss our loved ones in spirit. Vija, can you post the link for Spirit Connect community for this? Oh, yeah, I think that's true. So Jonas actually isn't on Facebook and he's helping me, but what I can do is go back and post it, right? I can, yeah. We will certainly do that. I'll post links. Great idea. Thanks, Vija. So a time too, just holidays in general, when we miss our loved ones more, right? There's so many memories connected to holidays, whether you have children or spouses or parents that you spent Easter with this holiday. And then the meaning of it itself, of the holiday. I just felt like it was a good time today to come on and share a really special spirit story that I hope uplifts you, comforts you, expands your heart and mind too. I had a lot of powerful readings. So the readings last week were so good, but there's one in particular I want to share. There was a lady who I connected with her son who had passed, and he brought through so many specific and cool validations. He was giving me phrases he would say. At one point, he told his mom he was now her angel devil. And I said, he says he's your angel devil. He had a good sense of humor. It's all humorous, you guys. Okay. He was good. He's definitely, his soul was at peace. He was just being funny. And she said, oh my gosh, that's what he used to call himself. That's what he used to say. Mom, I'm your angel devil. Like, how cool is that, right? Like, anyway, so specific. And he brought through so many specific validations. I didn't know how old he was. I felt him to be a young man. I felt him to have, as we went along, life experience that maybe I would place him in his late 20s just by the communication that he brought through. And then he showed me, you guys, and I get this a lot in readings. It's my reference when spirit will like kind of show me an image of themselves, like looking down on their life here, right? So they're right beside us. It's not literal, but they use imagery that they know I will understand and symbology that I will connect with. So show me looking down over his life here, and that he was expressing. Let me share a little bit more about this. So when I get this, people are wanting to share. I just learned from experience, lessons they learned here, higher wisdom, insight they have now. Okay. So it's a lot of like that type of information. And he ended up sharing with me insight he has now, kind of like what he had forgotten when he was here, but that he remembered when he returned to spirit. So as he's looking back over his life here, he shows me, puts in my mindset, like a date number range, 32 to 35. And he's like, that's it, 32 to 35. And so I knew he was talking about his age, and he confirmed that with me. Yes, that's it. And then I said to his mom, I asked his mom, how old was he? Because he's showing me 32 to 35 as this being his range. And she said he was 33, about to turn 34. And then he said to me, I would not have lived past 35. Like, I knew that I was not going to live past 35. So his soul remembered when he returned to spirit that 32 to 35 was his range. So I thought this was really powerful, because sometimes people will ask me, does the soul know like exactly before they come, like when they're going to leave? And there's a couple of different ways I answer this. I love Nikki, how she's watching. And here's the thing. Yes, but so what we tend to not mentally grasp as humans is like our soul is always working on our behalf. Okay. So we tend to think a lot in terms of before and after, past and future. So the answers I get from spirit are individual, right? So I have had loved ones communicate with me. I knew I was going to pass at this age. I've had loved ones say, if I wasn't going to pass this way, I would have passed another way. I've had others say to me, like this young man, oh, I wasn't going to live to, this was a range, or that. I've never gotten it exactly like that, but they'll say something like, I wasn't supposed to get married. I wasn't going to leave home. I wasn't going to have kids of my own. I wasn't going to be an old man. So it's really important for us to understand and not to get caught up in our heads. And people tend to do this more when they're in early grief and we have a lot going on, and we don't need to burden ourselves with more mental load than we already have going on of trying to figure out this. And I got a lot of questions this week too about this. You know, did my person know exactly? Did they leave when they're supposed to? Yes. Trust that they left when they were supposed to, that no soul leaves. Now, they don't all communicate like I knew ahead of time I was going to come here and pass at 34. But I love that this young man said, well, I knew it was going to be like between 32 and 35, right? He knew events were going to most likely work themselves out, that's when he would pass. And when you think about it, this makes sense because we have free will. It's not like we come here with exact marching orders. This happens. It's not like a military schedule. Our life isn't at all. There are so many like roads we can go down, so many detours we can take. So this makes perfect sense to me. This, I believe, if I had to say, would be probably most of us, wouldn't know before we came the exact time we were going to leave, right? Now, what happens is our soul's always working on our behalf. So let's say somebody passes and it may be that they didn't know before they came exactly when they were going to pass, but in that moment they passed, their soul knew it was okay and that they were going to continue their mission on the spirit side. It's almost like that their purpose and their mission could serve greater benefit on the spirit side. So I think we get distraught about this because we're forgetting that that it doesn't matter if they knew before. Like, our soul is still working on our behalf, right? We choose whether we like tune into it or not, whether we listen to it or not. Sometimes we can make life easier for ourselves when we follow our soul. But it doesn't, to them, it doesn't matter like before. And it's often limited what we know before, but it's still true that we die in the exact moment we're supposed to. Does that make sense, you guys? So some people think that sounds contradictory to say we may not know before we come, but we die in the exact moment we're supposed to. Well, yeah, because our soul decides, whether it decided before or it decided in that moment, it decided that this was our time to go. So I hope this, if that's something that you've mentally um, spent a lot of energy on, wondering, is it this or this or this? It's both, right? So, but like this young man who told me like his range was 32 to 35, and he passed just before he turned 34. And again, with all the validations too, I had no idea how old he was before. I told his mom that I probably would have guessed like late 20s, honestly. But yeah, it doesn't matter, you guys. It doesn't matter. If I don't know, like, did I decide how old I was going to stay? We tend to think in linear terms and factual thoughts, like, when you contemplate this, like, I wonder how old I am going to be. But to them, it's more about like, and to your soul, really, it's more about what you want to accomplish here. And when you get that done, right? And knowing that there is free will, and that a lot of times we're accomplishing this with other people here who also have free will, then it can make more sense. Oh yeah, like our soul is maybe deciding on the spot for us. And to me, this is very empowering too, because I find that when people get hung up on what we plan before we come and they only use that terminology, it's like they tend to have more of a disconnect from their intuition now. And it can be empowering to know, oh wait, our soul is guiding us now. Your person who passed, their soul was guiding them in the moment of their passing. They would not have passed if there was more here for them to do, if they didn't see that they could do more from the spirit side than here. Does that make sense? So when they chose to leave, and it doesn't matter their age, every soul has a different mission, has a different reason for coming here. So it's more about what they came here for, and that they leave when they know that they're not going to continue to accomplish that, or they've already accomplished that, and that they can do more from the spirit side. So I hope that was inspiring to you guys and maybe bring a little insight. I don't have all the answers. I can only speak from my experience. And I know from my experience that I've had very few readings where a person in spirit has expressed, like, this was my number, this was the age. And even then, I've never had anyone express, I knew before I came, I was going to go on this exact time and date. Now, sometimes people will have connections to past relatives. They passed on the same date, and we might interpret that as, well, they probably knew before they came. Well, spirit will align things to give us comfort at the right time. We will have these synchronicities so that our soul can know there's more going on here than what we can see, right? In this life that we're living in the physical. So it may be that somebody passes on the same day. I gave an example recently about this young man who passed in the same way of his grandfather, that his grandfather did, on the exact same day, right? So I do believe that both of them were by gunshot wound, very violent passings. I do know that spirit can orchestrate that when it is for the highest good. But I also know that we get a lot of leeway here, and the important thing is that we know and can trust that our person or our people passed exactly when they were supposed to, and not get hung up on when they decided, when their soul decided that would be. Okay. Any questions, you guys? I'd love to take any questions if you guys have any. If you've been listening. Okay. I don't think.
I haven't seen any questions pop up in chat thus far, but hopefully we'll get some trickled in here before we leave.
Yeah. You guys, I'm going to share something that is kind of just on my heart today that I feel impressed to share. And yeah, Vija, no questions, just believe. I believe in our soul contract as much as I hate that we had to go through this, but I have come to terms that this body is just a vessel with a soul who has come here to learn. Yes, to learn, to love, to grow. And my belief in soul contracts is that it's like a blueprint. We come here, and again, we want to accomplish as much as we can according to what our soul wants to accomplish. And it's not contractual in the sense that it's like do or die, literally, right? But our soul is always aware, whether we're in attunement with it or not. And I think even when we are in attunement with it, we have limited like conscious awareness of what's going on from the higher perspective, especially with our own soul sometimes, right? But we are very biased when it comes to ourselves and have a difficult time separating our logical thoughts from our higher thoughts. But my belief, Spirit always showed me, my son showed me early on, like we built a house. Mostly my husband built the house like years ago. And I remember that we ordered blueprints for the house. And Perry has shown me this so many times, you guys. If I were to go get the blueprints from the closet and show you the blueprints that we use to build the house, it does not look like, you may not recognize our house from those blueprints, right? So we made modifications, we changed things after we started building. And so I have been shown that that's what our soul contract is like. It's more of a blueprint, and contract sometimes doesn't feel expansive. Contract can feel limiting, but trust how you feel about it. If soul contract, that term gives you comfort, that's fine. It's more of the understanding that Spirit seems to like me relaying and sharing that example of a blueprint, right? And so then it's always working on our behalf. So think we have a blueprint. So with our house, for example, we changed one of the upstairs room. Actually, it was Perry's room, to give him a bigger room and the open space. But then because of that, as a result, we had to change other things while we were building, right? Because one thing always affects another. But we had good support. My husband had good support. And think of it that way, you guys, as like our soul, we might have free will and make decisions that are not always for our highest good, or that take us down a winding road when there might have been a more direct route to what we wanted to accomplish, or take us away from what we wanted to accomplish early on. So that means our soul is going, okay, so Rachel just did this. We had her set up for this, but she didn't pay attention, or she was stubborn and she did this. So now we're going to come over here and open up this door for her, right? Because I have learned so much about this through divine guidance sessions. And that's why I say with divine guidance, it's not predictive, it's prescriptive. And I always tell clients, you do not have to do what comes through. This is an option for your highest good. People have free will, especially when it comes to relationship questions. Those have the most options because you're dealing with more than one person that has free will. Okay. So when you think of soul contract, think of it as a blueprint, but you have this unseen support. Your soul has guides and loved ones and ancestors and higher beings that will help you, angels, to help you sometimes, get back on track, or, oh, wait a minute, she didn't do this, but this will be just as good. Okay. So think of it that way. Talking about the passing, can it be that they died during COVID because of issues related to needing to stay confined? Not sure. That your question just popped out to me, Krisha, but could it be that they died during COVID to stay confined? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I understand the question. Oh, thanks, Emily. And all this resonates with me. Okay. Oh, I forgot okay, you guys, I got to retell this story. The story of the guy, the reading I gave last week, where he told me he was his mom's angel devil. And she said, oh my gosh, he used to say that. He said I was his angel devil. He was just funny. And then he gave me a range. He said he 32 to 35 was my range. That was my time. And so I didn't know how old he was. And his mom said he was 33, almost 34 when he passed. And he said he definitely would not have lived beyond 35. That's the part I didn't say. And then she said, oh my gosh, he used to always say, I'm not going to live beyond 35. So how crazy cool is that, you guys? So he here said, I'm not going to live past 35. And his perspective now, his soul communicated to me. I'm looking back over my life, and I forgot here because we're supposed to forget, right? That I see now though that my range was 32 to 35. So for him, that's when he was going to be finished with his work here, when he was going to choose to return home to continue his life. And I think when we can also wrap our minds around the fact that they are continuing their life and they are continuing with purpose, then it can maybe be a little bit easier to understand, even though selfishly we would like them to be here and we would like to see what they're doing, right? Yeah, especially as parents. This is really hard for parents. We have different exit points in our life, even with the soul contract. Yeah. So again, Andrea, think of the soul contract as like the blueprints and not so much like an age as much as like when you get done. There might be people who live here a long life because maybe it took them a long time to accomplish what it took somebody else less time to. Okay. Again, the soul's perspective is very different from the human perspective, our human mental perspective, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. And exit points. Yeah. Opportunities to go. If we decide that that is for our highest good and the highest good of all, right? To who we have these maybe blueprints with, or these soul contracts with. Again, only use a blueprint because sometimes we tend to think of a contract like we have to do this, and then it has to happen at this time. And that's just not the way it is here on Earth. Okay. Yeah, Linda Melkson, learn about believing soul contracts has brought me some peace. It's helped me to be truly thankful for the time that we had. Yeah. So for me, my personal belief, and maybe this will help too, is that my son wasn't going to live to be an old man here. Now, I don't know. For whatever reason, 19 stood out to me. That was really hard for me in the beginning. Even like another month or 6 months or a year for him to spend with him would have been, I would have given anything for, especially because I felt like I could have prevented his passing. I could have found him. I could help. So somebody said something to me in a synchronicity one time about he could have stayed till 19, but decided it was for the best for everybody to go now. So again, that was hard because he passed when he was 17. Now I can consider that, and it's not painful for me. But those first 2 years after he passed, especially before he would have been 19, and just because of where I was in my grief and mourning, it was very painful for me to consider that he may have possibly been able to live 2 more years here with us, if that makes sense. And I don't know, right? I don't know that it was just a feeling, a synchronicity that happened. And I kind of wondered, I wonder if he's trying to tell me, Mom, I could have stayed till I was 19, but I decided this was the best time. And the interesting thing, you guys, if you don't know my story, is we were really in transit for the summer. Like the kids had all grown up in Tennessee, and we had lived in Ohio for the summer. And I do believe that if he had passed in Tennessee, I don't believe we would be in Arizona. I don't believe the kids would be where they are now. I believe it would have been a very different journey for us. So even though maybe he could have had more life experiences here, I know that his soul had already completed what it came here to do, and that he was ready to continue a lot different. I knew he's helped me in my readings, helped me get on my journey. I know he guides his whole family, and I don't know what all he does. I'm not the medium that's going to say this is exactly what they do, because the more curious and open I am, the more I actually get in readings from each people, because they're so individual, right? Our souls are individual, just like we are. But I can accept. I'm going to say accept, because I don't know if that's true, that if he didn't pass when he was 17, if he would have left when he was 19. But it's not a painful thought for me now, if that makes sense. Emily says, I feel like our kids are still walking this with us, and Cameron can and does have a bigger ripple effect from there, even though the human me wishes he was still here physically. Yes. And, I absolutely agree, Emily, that our kids are working with us. And I don't believe it's just like me and you. Like, Emily's a grief coach, you guys, and an author. Obviously, I wouldn't be doing the work I'm doing without Perry, but I believe that each of us have our own gifts, and that our yeah, I do believe that Perry's my guide. I wouldn't be doing this speech. I don't know if you read my story, but he literally brought kids to me. That's why I'm doing the work I'm doing now. Like I literally saw him from the very first connection. Absolutely. I don't usually see him, but I will still sometimes in readings, he will still help me. Yeah. Absolutely, she is. But it's going to be in different ways. And so they're going to work with you into what your gifts are, right? So Jonas is a musician. Perry could inspire him and give him some lyrics, maybe you work in an animal shelter, and your loved ones like help you comfort animals here, help you place homes. And a lot of what they do, you guys, for most of us, most of the time is invisible, right? So they don't have an ego now, even if they did here. And so they're okay with that. They see the bigger picture. They feel very fulfilled by helping us, even if we don't always know when they are. Because of the work I do, I'm an evidential medium. It's all about evidence. Perry's good at evidence. So I have had connections with him. And I'm always careful about this because I've received validation from him, right? Personally, that he's helping me. Like he's told me things one time. We were at this water park and I was sad because Jonas didn't have a friend, but Rihanna did. And I remember wishing, oh my gosh, if Perry was here, he would be out there with Jonas. And Jonas was still probably like 12 or almost 13. And I heard Perry say he's going to make a friend. And then Jonas came back out of playing with the wave pool and he said, I made a friend. So I have actually gotten evidential validations from Perry. He validates for me myself, but I don't know how. Some of that is because of the nature of the work I do. I still tell parents and people, you can get your own validations, ask them to show you something that's going to happen throughout your day or something like that. But I am also realistic that my gifts are as an evidential medium. So it makes sense to me that I'm going to get that evidence from Perry that you guys may not get. But that's also why I'm so passionate about sharing these things, because you can kind of get a feeling once your mind and heart are open. Just ask your loved one, hey, are you helping me with this? Can you give me a sign? You will get your own validations in your own way. Yeah. Regardless of what we do now. Absolutely. So yeah, he was my main guide in doing this. Now, even though I had experiences long before he passed, actually after Jonas was born. So 20 years ago, that's when I had obvious evidential mediumship experiences, not finding any good from this experience. Why? Stephanie, here's what I believe. I believe that we have this human perspective and our higher perspective. And so for me, it's not that I don't miss Perry. It's not that I discount how tormenting grief was. I can absolutely remember it. I could spend all day reliving it if I chose to. And I feel like I did have to for a certain amount of time. I also believe that we have to get closure, and closure doesn't mean, yes, I'm so happy that he died, or so happy that she died. But there are certain things, like when I give readings to parents where they have questions around their person's passing, their child's passing, or even non-parents, there's something about not getting answers that can help us get out of our head with always thinking about their passing. So when we're always thinking about our passing, it's really, we can't move forward, right? And you may not be there, right? But there are places along the way that we can still stay in. And it's really all about our mental perspective. And I believe there are spiritual tools that can help us: meditation, nurturing our beliefs, right? People who have communities that aren't supportive of this, and just stay in those communities and don't seek out others to nurture their belief. I feel like have a harder time connecting with the higher perspective and really feeling the presence of their loved ones now. So to me, it's about feeling Perry with me now. Okay. So it's not that I'm glad that he passed. It's not that I don't miss his physical presence. It's that I just don't stay in that perspective or that mindset, because when I do, I don't feel him with me now. And as much as I want him back, what I want more than anything is to live a life that I'm happy, that I create happy memories with my family now, and that I know he's with me. So as much as I want him back in the physical, I can't have that. So I'm going to do the second best option. I'm going to take the second best option, which is staying in my higher perspective. So I have the relationship with him now that I have. It's not the relationship I had wanted, but it is a relationship with him. So I can't complain. I feel him with me. And it's not because I'm a medium. Again, I can go into those spaces too. So, we're human and we're a soul, right? So the more we can connect with our soul, and I know I say that and it sounds so elusive, but I could talk a whole hour just about like ways you can connect with your soul, right? And I kind of touched upon it here, but I choose the relationship with him now. And so I will do what I need to do to nurture myself, to stay in a space where I'm always aware of our relationship, even throughout the hard times, even when I miss him. I'm always going to choose, and we have to choose. That's where that keeps coming for me, right? And so I can't, of course I see the good. I mean, I remember before he passed, and I grew up in a religious home, and I was obviously very intuitive. And I remember still having thoughts. I remember watching my kids when they were little and going, oh my gosh, what if this life is all there is? And I remember feeling like sad, like, what if this is it? And just thinking, I just couldn't handle that thought because it felt so sad. And this was before Perry died. My kids were healthy. I had no fear of any of them like leaving before me. So absolutely, it's a gift. This is good. I mean, to know that, guess what? This is like such a short time that we're here. And one, I want to enjoy it as much as I can and make as many memories as I can. Because I see from our loved ones' perspective, they're like, oh yeah, it's such a short time. And then we're going to be reunited. And so to me, there's no greater gift. As much as I might miss my son and wouldn't have wanted him to pass, there's no greater gift than knowing that we're actually going to be connected forever, not just, 70 years or whatever it would have been. Okay. I got passionate about that. Well,
very much so.
Yeah. So I'll let you, any questions, Jonas? I know we'll have to wrap it up here. Instagram cuts off at like an hour. So we want to keep it under an hour.
Right. Geez, we have a bunch of questions to get through. I'm going to try to get through a decent amount of them. Oh, there is one I was just looking at. Oh, where is it? Oh yeah, Vivian from Instagram had a pretty interesting question. My son knew he was going to die. He even had a date. Unfortunately, he died 7 years before that. He said he had a feeling that he wasn't going to grow old, but how is that possible?
Oh, Vivian. Okay. I think Vivian I met at my first group reading and her son came through with a Game Boy or PlayStation or something. It's so funny, the things that I remember and the things that I don't, but that stay with me. So the date. So let me tune in a little bit for this. Like, think of it this, like how I explained before, like, we have this blueprint here, but our soul's always working on our behalf, right? And so just like with my son, let's say Perry had a date before he came to pass when he was 19, but he left when he was 17. He left when he was 17 because his soul and spirit could see what was coming around the corner and how it would set up all of us really, right? And so, of course, as a mom, like, it's sort of like the question I just addressed before, like, I wouldn't have chosen. I never would have been like, okay, go. If I would have had a conscious choice in it, I would have like risked my own life. I would have given my own life if he could have stayed here even 2 more years when he died. So I'm not discounting that, you guys. I'm just talking about the higher perspective now, right? Which is greater than our human emotions, and as big as grief is, it's greater than that, right? So I believe, Vivian, that he had that date, and I believe that was his soul that knew that and expressed that. But circumstances were that his soul knew it was okay to go when he did, right? And that he might even do work on the spirit side with his family here. Maybe he could see things around the corner, because you guys, we also will guide our family, right? So a lot of times, even unborn babies will stay in the family guiding them. So I don't claim to understand what that is, but just trust that even though that date he had was a date that his soul knew, and that, you guys, it's also important to know we get glimpses and bits of information from our soul, right? But not a complete knowing. So he may not have got that complete knowing, or wasn't supposed to, that he was going to leave sooner than that, but he had that as a potential time that he would pass, but passed earlier. I hope that makes sense.
I think so. Yeah. All right. Lisa from Instagram wanted to ask, so if the soul is ready, Rachel, we really can't stand in their way?
We really can't stand in their way if the soul is ready. No, I don't believe that we can. Yeah, there will be things that um, that spirit will sometimes hold us back, right? When it's somebody's time to go. Okay. Spirit will also, like, if we're supposed to help somebody stay, we can be a vessel to help someone stay by our actions, often unknowing. Yeah. Now, I do have feelings about, we don't want to touch upon like murder, but I don't believe that anybody comes here to hurt another person. But here's the thing, you guys, either the soul has planned to go at this time already, or plans in that moment that it's okay and that they're going to be able to serve their mission, their purpose, maybe in a different way, but in a more expansive way from the spirit side. I don't claim to understand that, but that's my belief. Yeah. Yeah, Stephanie, I would just encourage you to be, and I didn't feel that about you. I just felt more like just that it just came out of me, what I shared there, for anybody who is listening to that. Not for you specifically, but I feel like it's important for us to nurture our belief, to work through what we have. You guys, our loved ones passing is an opportunity, an opening, maybe that's a better word, a more gentler word than opportunity, to explore our own healing. I know after my son passed, it gave me the courage to kind of face some past traumas, and work on my own healing. So I'm a work in progress. I don't believe that healing has an end point. I believe that we're going to experience like the shitty parts of life as well as the good parts of life. But I believe that there's probably a blockage there, or an obstacle that maybe you have assigned this. You guys, this is individual here, but if you are listening to this and you feel like, give yourself time for one thing, right? If it's been a few years and you feel like I have this belief, I know they're with me, I get their signs, I feel this closeness, like Stephanie. And I don't know how long it's been for you, Stephanie. Could you put that in the comments? But if you feel like you're still in a space, or you can't get out of a space of despair, or just not, like Stephanie so well expressed, not having any positive feelings, then I would say to explore your own healing, what else might be there. Because here's what happens to us as parents. We start assigning like our child's death as the reason we have any pain in our life. I'm just saying it like it is. I've seen this. As a parent myself, being in groups, I could discern that when I was with others. It's like, I cannot blame, but I might not be conscious that I'm blaming my son's death on every other negative feeling I have, right? If we tell ourselves we've lost a child, we'll never be happy, pay attention to not just the words that people are telling you, but the thoughts that you're telling yourself, and pay attention to the words people are telling you, because they become your truth at a certain level if you allow it to, right? So if I'm always surrounding myself with people that are saying it never gets better, I'll never be happy because my child died, I am going to internalize that. And if I internalize that, I'm never going to be happy, right? So then all I've done is started assigning blame. Then I'm blaming my son basically on my unhappiness, right? And so I can't, as it was the most painful experience that I would never wish on anyone, I am aware that there are other, unhealed parts of me. There are other things that happen in life that produce negative feelings. But if I'm always assigning Perry's death to that, I will never become aware or release that, right? So I believe when somebody has a hard time letting go of the neck or not experiencing positive feelings, and they've done all this work, or they have all the belief, then I believe it's time to do the inner work and to really look at what else is going on. Yeah.
Well said.
Thank you. Okay, I guess I could wrap it up here. Yeah, I actually was going to share a story, and maybe we'll save it for another time because there were some good questions that came through, and I hope that you guys could appreciate this conversation. I feel like I was very passionate tonight for some reason, more so than usual. So I know where that came from, but I trust that, you know, who needs to hear it receives it. And there's so much to this, you guys. And spiritual connection is only one part of our healing journey. I just saw a post in my memory today that was these essential oils that I wore after Perry passed to help me get through my PTSD, because I had a hard time walking outside when sun went down, because that's when we were looking for him after he passed. And so I remember that, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually was like, instead of going, okay, I can never go outside again, it's like, I want to be able to go outside. And so a friend sent me a diffuser with frankincense in it. And I literally started going outside at sunset and breathing through it. Therapy, talk therapy, somatic therapy. Actually, I'm a big proponent of somatic therapy because our emotions stay within us. And so sometimes it may be the emotions of our child's passing or person's passing, or again, those past traumas buried even deeper that can keep us from feeling those positive feelings or keep us from staying connected to our higher thoughts, to our soul, and to spirit. Oh, thank you, Cindy. Cindy says I'm making oil for grief. Okay, you guys, thanks again for joining me. Happy Resurrection Day, whether you celebrate Easter or not. Again, the meaning of this day for me, it's why I do what I do every day. Thank you for trusting me with your loved ones' messages. Many of you I recognize as clients. Thank you for joining me here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your night and good week ahead. Sending you guys all lots of love. Bye-bye.
Bye.